All right, what is up? It's your boy Willymane. Back again with another Solomon's Crown video. Trying out something new. We've been working on this for months, but I'm not gonna bore you guys with the details. Just what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe because we're gonna be putting out videos. We have a lot of things that we've been working on. We've been trying to cater our content and change things. This is a big learning process for me and my boy Pop.
To be providers or whatever. But at the same time, a lot of women want to be independent and making their own money and all this other stuff. So it's kind of like, which one is it? And this also kind of sends a subliminal message to kind of say that, hey,
And we're going to continue to do this. Even though we keep getting shadow banned for some reason, I guess you can't say words that hurt people's feelings on the internet. I apologize. Nothing that we say is mean. It's meant to be harmful directly to anybody. If you take it in any type of way, just comment below and we'll address the situation as we see fit. But for the most part, we're not here to hurt anybody's feelings. We're here to make sure that people see things for what they actually are. And if they aren't that way, which, a lot of people don't experience things or see things the way that everybody else does because of the experiences that they have been through in life. I would say me and my co-host have seen a lot of the real world outside of some of the world that people would rather live in and see us content with or be content with. But my views on here are personal views. If you disagree with me, that's fine. I'm not one to say like, oh, if you disagree with me, then you're wrong. If you disagree with me, say what you got to say, and we'll go from there. And then we can squabble it out in the comment boxes and hopefully come to a mutual agreement. Sometimes the agreement is just agree to disagree. That doesn't mean that either one of us is wrong or right. It just means that we can't come to a conclusion. So without further ado, let's jump into this video.
And only him.
So you've had a one night stand.
Mhm.
However, you're making a man wait.
I'm not making anyone wait right now, but yeah.
Right, but you said you have a 3-month rule. So you find a guy and he knows this information. Why would you make him wait?
Just, I mean, I said it to see if.
Well,
But then you don't make these one night stands wait. I think that's where it
Yeah.
doesn't make sense.
So
You
a
don't
man,
want-
Is she
a man,
looking
a
for
man in his head,
relationship with that one night stand, or
That's
does
the
she just want
difference.
to
a man in
hook
his
up? There's a big difference with pursuing a relationship with somebody and just wanting to hook up with somebody.
But I don't like how we compartmentalize how we treat sex. Like, okay, if you don't want anything from the guy and you just want casual sex, oh, just fuck him right away. Whereas the guy who you actually value and he values you and he wants a relationship with you, make him wait.
Well,
I think you honestly should have the same standard across the board.
And
So the chick who's always on their stuff, who's pretty much the chick who was like, oh, there's a difference between having like just wanting to have sex with somebody and wanting to be in a relationship. But the crazy part is like you're gonna make the dude that you want to be in a relationship wait, but not the one night stand, and then wonder why you can't find a good man. So this logic is totally flawed because I mean, I guess it's the whole idea of like nice guys finish last because with a lot of these females, it's always going to be, well, the guy that I'm making wait is a nice guy and he's going to wait. And I think that as men, that should be a red flag in itself. Not saying that women should just be giving up sex. It's not that like base level of thinking. It's more so is this woman is willing to just have sex with a random dude that she does not know and then make you wait and pursue her for potentially her not even liking you. Because if you're making a dude wait, let's just be honest, you probably don't like him like that, and you're probably trying to fill out something that makes you like him a little bit more. Now it is like 3 months is a long time to wait for like anything, to be honest. Like but I also just don't think like setting limitations and guidelines for like, oh, I'm going to be in a relationship if this, and that happens. I think that's a horrible way to think about a relationship, because a relationship is supposed to be natural, right? Now, say there's no sexual attraction to this guy and you kind of got to build up to it, or you're filling them out to see like, okay, can I be in a relationship with this guy? That's totally different. But also, based on a lot of the things that me and my co-hosts have talked about, like just having sex with multiple partners is low key the downfall of a lot of people. Um, One could contest that literally every time you have sex with somebody, your next partner has to compete with everybody else who's in line before them. But that's neither here nor there. There's no research to prove that. But with the way these females are talking and saying things, it seems to be somewhat true, because then they've just become more delusional, right? So a woman will say that, oh, I've had sex with 300 people and it's hard for me to like initiate sex and have sex. So the thing about that is, most men who are like in tune with like themselves and what they want and things like that will notice when a woman is kind of like a bop or a floozy, as some would say, very loose. Um, and that's why a lot of these women could be having problems trying to find a good dude, because a dude who's like looking for something specific, which a lot of these females are failing to realize, is if you want a good guy, right? What is a good guy going to look for in a girl? Like a good guy is maybe going to be at a club, but he's not necessarily going to want to be there, right? He's going to be there with his friends, and maybe he meets a nice girl there, but if she's giving up sex on the first night, he's probably just going to be like, I don't know where this could go. It could go a little bit further and they could get married and things like that. But I mean, he has to realize that if it was that easy, then there's probably been other guys who have been more attractive than him who've gotten it just as easy. So where does that leave us, right? You guys think? I know I rambled on for a little bit and things got a little out of hand with all the noises and everything like that. But the core of this conversation is think about what you're doing. Think about long-term goals. In the short term, yes, a lot of this stuff feels good. It's going to be good. It's going to be fun, this, and that. But if your end goal is to find something with meaning and value, you're going to have to change as a person drastically. And as they say, the older people get, the harder it is to change. So until next time.
Now back to your regularly scheduled program.
So it leaves us where we are now, right? We have all these social media sites with relationship advice, people talking, like even this talk show, like people are watching these videos, right? Because it's things that are happening in everybody's daily lives. While some people don't want to believe or adjust to the things that are happening in the world, it's just going to be one of those things that you either get with it or you don't, right? So social media is something that is going to be with us forever now. And it can get better, but it can also get a lot worse. So social media right now is all about clout, status, who's wrong or right, arguing, not really any points to the ends of the conversations. It's just, what can I say on here that's wild, super wild, right? And then once it's said that's something that's said that's super wild, it gets published and everybody watches it and everybody has their opinions and everything like that. So I don't think everybody, I mean, there's a lot of people who try to have the answers, but it's like we're almost fighting against each other, right? So women are saying one thing. Women are saying they don't want to be submissive to a man. They want to live their lives. They want to do whatever they want when they want, things like that. And they say that they're doing this because men have been doing this for years. And it's not so much that men have been doing it for years. It's just the fact that a lot of the men that women mess with are top tier men. So when I say top tier men, right? So most women are looking for the same thing in men. well, I wouldn't even go as far as saying most. Let's just say there's a group of women who want a dude who's taller than them, who has certain characteristics, who makes a certain amount of money, and yada yada yada, right? For most men, because men cannot necessarily be picky if they're not even average. I mean, most average men can't even be picky, which is why a lot of dudes who tend to look better than their spouse or just in general usually have like somebody who other women would say, oh, she's not up to his caliber. And we've done a video on it before where women get mad about things like that, where it's like, oh, why is this fine dude dating this ugly chick? Okay, so let's get into that, right? The reason why is because the way she treats him. A man doesn't care like how a woman looks and like what she brings to the table and things like that. And I know the discussion gets brought up all the time. It's like, oh, what do you bring to the table? This, and that. But a man doesn't look at it like that, right? So we live in a society where men with money have to take care of broke women, right? But as the short that I just posted shows, once women start to gain money, they usually tend to say, you know what, I don't really need this dude, and I was only dealing with him because I was in a certain tax bracket. But the higher up in the tax bracket you get, the worse the men become. And not all the men are horrible at the top, but think about it. I'm a man with money. I don't need a woman. I've worked hard my entire life to get everything I want. Um, Nobody ever did anything for me. And the people that I keep around me are either business associates or they're like minded and we're working towards common goals, right? Now, why would me as that man be like, man, I'm going to go find a bad bae who doesn't need me, who makes all her own money, who essentially is like the same thing as you? Like, okay, you have the same mentality as me, right? So, in a lot of cases, somebody has to be submissive at some point. Somebody has to make an ultimatum, which it should be both of you, because in a relationship, it's not about one person sacrificing more, right? But the way that a lot of women are going is, I didn't work this hard to be submissive to a man. I didn't work this hard to do all these things so that I could listen to what a man has to say, because wasn't no man there when I built myself up to this point, right? But men don't look at it like that. When men get to a certain point in their lives, they're like, man, I really want to enjoy this with somebody. Maybe I should settle down and find somebody who like just wants to do things and just be comfortable in life. And this is based heavily on the views of social media. So I know there's going to be people out there who are like, oh, that doesn't pertain to me. You're wrong. This, and that. Okay, cool. I'm wrong in certain aspects because that is the aspect that is not controlled by social media, or that is with social media, that goes with social media. And the women who actually do not care about these things, right? There's plenty of women out there who just want to find a good dude who's going to take care of them, literally be loyal, don't cheat, bring home the bacon, as some would say. And even if he's not doing that, some women just want a guy who is there for them, that they can depend on and who can be reliable. Now, as far as the men go, a lot of men are just squandering that, right? You have ugly dudes and dudes who are below par by society standards, not mine, who are bagging baddies, as some would say, and just living happy lives, right? Because they don't have all the temptations that a dude with status, or a dude who's above a 7, or who can get many women, who talks to many women would. They're not on the same level. They don't believe in the same things. But as we've said before, a lot of these people are essentially talking to the same people at the top. So it's like you make money and there's only so many dudes that are 6-figure, top 3 percentile, like making 300,000, this, and that. So you're going to talk to a lot of the same dudes that your homegirls are talking to if you guys are on the same status. So you can't be mad about that. It's just, that's just how it is, right? I got so much stuff, so many noises going on. I apologize for that. But let me wrap this up. So essentially, don't listen to the chick who's just like, oh, you're either having sex to date or having sex to not be in a relationship. Like, don't listen to the chicks like that, because that chick has literally, she doesn't care about men in general. Like, you can tell by the way that she's done interviews, and we might have her, like, more clips of her on here, but like, you can tell that her end goal is not necessarily to be with a man um who is going to care about her and just love her for who she is. She has had a lot of trauma, which I'll get into that on another talk. A lot of trauma that has led her to this thought pattern, right? But the thing about it is, when you see a chick like that, and a lot of younger chicks and just chicks in general who are kind of like in between um what they want to do in life, they see chicks like this and they're like, yo, she's right, she's right, she's right. And they follow after that, and they end up being miserable and alone, because as you can see on the whatever.com podcast, a lot of people on that podcast are delusional. And why is it? It's because they've never been told, like, hey, maybe you shouldn't sleep with 300 dudes before you're 24 years old. That might have something that negatively affects you in the long run. So without further ado, I'm going to just end it right there. Like I said, we have more videos on the way. Y'all saw the little outfit change. Got the Kaizen, got the black, got the red, and we got more on the way. But what do you guys think? I know I rambled on for a little bit and things got a little out of hand with all the noises and everything like that. But the core of this conversation is think about what you're doing. Think about long-term goals. In the short term, yes, a lot of this stuff feels good. It's going to be good. It's going to be fun, this, and that. But if your end goal is to find something with meaning and value, you're going to have to change as a person drastically. And as they say, the older people get, the harder it is to change. So until next time, peace. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I promise I'll have a better environment for you guys next time. So just getting back into the full form videos. We've been doing shorts for a little while, and I think that a lot of the talks that we have need to be thoroughly discussed so that we're not being misconstrued and taken in the wrong ways, because as we said before, the goal of this channel is for improvement and not necessarily to judge people, because this is a judgment-free zone. So peace.